Hey there, beautiful souls. Welcome back to Light Up Your Worth with myself, Debbie McAllister, your midlife fulfillment coach. Today, I'm so excited to share something really special with you. As you know, over this last season, season 4, I've asked my guests a particular question that always seems to stop them in their tracks in the best possible way. It's a question that cuts through all of the surface level success talks and gets us right into the heart of what we're really exploring here, our worth. The question is simple. What would you tell your younger self about your own worth? And let me tell you, the answers, they're pure magic. So I've created this series called What Wise Women Would Say, where I'm sharing these powerful moments with incredible women who have walked through their own transformation and come out the other side with wisdom that will absolutely light you up. So here's what you're going to discover in this series. First, you'll learn that your worth isn't something you have to earn. It's something you get to remember. You've been conditioned to believe we need more accomplishments, more healing, more something to finally be worthy. But what if you already are enough, exactly as you are now? Second, you'll hear why self-worth is the function of everything else. It's not that you lack skills, resources, or capability. What you lack is the belief in your inherent worth to claim what's already yours, and that changes everything. Thirdly, you'll discover the power of releasing what was never yours to carry. So many of us high achieving women have been carrying burdens, keeping secrets, and taking responsibility for things that were never our fault. These women will show you what happens when you finally let that go. You'll also learn about the daily practice of trusting yourself, not in some grand, dramatic way, but in the simple choice to keep going, to do your best today, and trust you'll get another chance tomorrow. And finally, you'll witness what becomes possible when you stop seeking approval from others and become your own greatest champion. This is the shift that propels you forward completely, from living for others to living authentically for yourself. In this first episode, you'll meet Amy Fowler, who reminds us to trust that we're worthy just as we are, no growth required. Carey Adams, who provides us all that we have the capacity inside us when we believe you got this. Hughes, who shares the tender truth that it wasn't your fault and you're not responsible for everything. Kim Rogers, who offers the simple yet powerful wisdom of just keeping going, one day at a time. And Nancy Reagan, who discovered at midlife that loving yourself first changes absolutely everything. Each of these women have walked through their own journey from external validation to internal fulfillment. That's the exact transformation we explore in the Beyond Success Blueprint. So whether you're feeling successful on paper but unfulfilled in your heart, wondering if there's more to life beyond your achievements, ready to discover what truly lights you up, or simply craving permission to finally put yourself first, this series is for you. Over the next few episodes, you're going to hear wisdom that might just change everything. Because here's the truth. You don't need to wait until you've achieved more, healed more, or become more to be worthy. You're worthy right now. And these incredible women are here to remind you of that. So go grab your favorite cup of coffee or tea, get comfortable, and let's dive into our first conversation. Amy Fowler is an intuitive energy healer and frequency coach. dedicated to guiding individuals on a transformative journey of self-discovery and realignment. Through the power of energy healing and expert frequency support, she empowers others to elevate their vibration, reconnect with their authentic selves, and manifest the life they truly desire. Amy was my guest on the episode of Manifesting Your Best Life Using Healing for Personal Growth and Energy Alignment, which was episode 143 here in season 4. So let's jump in to the information that she shared. For what you know now, what would you tell your younger self about your own worth?
The first thing that came to me when you said before you brought in the worth part was to tell my younger self to trust not only within myself that you're doing just fine, but also to trust in your intuition that what to do, and to trust in the universe to have your back. To add on to the layer of that of the worth is to just trust that you are worthy just the way you are in this time, in this space, without the healing, without the professional development, without the professional growth. You are worthy just the way you are in this time, and you are in the right place at this time. Is there room for growth? Absolutely. But there's no need for it. You are just perfect the way you are.
Amy's wisdom really cuts through decades of conditioning that tells us what we need to be more to be enough. She invites you to trust these 3 essential truths. Trust yourself. You're doing just fine exactly where you are. Trust your intuition. You already know what you need. And trust the universe. You're in the right place at the right time. And recognizing that while there's room for growth, there's no need for it to validate your worth. You are already whole, already perfect, already worthy. So I'd like to provide you a reflection question after each guess. What would change in your life if you truly believed you were worthy right now without changing a single thing? My next guest is Carey Adams. Carey Adams is a physical therapist and strength and nutrition coach with almost 20 years of experience specializing in helping women over 40. She created the Fitter, Leaner, Stronger Over 40 program that's designed to guide women through the unique challenges of midlife, including weight gain and changing hormones. She was my guest on the episode of Fitter, Leaner, Stronger Health Mastery for Women Over 40, which was episode 147. So let's jump in. In this season of your life, with everything you've experienced and have learned, if you had to go back now and talk to your younger self about your own worth, what would you tell her?
This is going to make me cry. You've got this. Yep. You've got this.
Oh,
Yep, that's it.
it's amazing what we know now with the seasons,
Mhm.
what they teach us about ourselves.
One of the things people on the internet, you don't know their stories. It looks easy for them. Simple. They must have support I don't have. We don't know the story behind anybody.
Mhm.
So we've all got to realize we can do this. We just need to learn the skills, have self-worth and confidence to, that's where the lack is, right?
Mhm.
These are skills to be learned, and we all need to, we have the capacity inside us to learn these skills, and they'll benefit you forever in every area of your life.
Mhm.
Mhm.
It is. It's so true. I believe that I'm an advocate for women to really own their self-worth and
Find that self-worth and believe
step
that
into it.
self-worth.
It really does show. We show up different.
Yeah.
We show up on
Yeah.
how we walk in a room. And this isn't saying that people are cocky or overconfident. This is knowing that you are worthy of everything, how we lift each other up. You're this expert with the strength training and the nutrition, and I may not be an expert in that, but I am really good at people stepping into and seeing some of their own limiting beliefs and really igniting their own self-discovery.
That's so powerful. Nothing changes without self-discovery and awareness, because you don't know what you need to work on. We have to have this awareness without judgment. I know you teach that awareness without judgment, with curiosity, and then working from there. Sounds like we talk about a lot of the same things, but like in a different area.
Right? Because when it gets down to it, everybody has this underlying, or so many, shouldn't say everybody, but so many of us, especially women, have struggled with this. And then you find that, and then you're trying to now, how do you help? You see how it has impacted your choices and the patterns that we all have different patterns that we're overcoming, and generational traumas, and then our own life traumas, whether they're the small T's or the big T's, but lots of small T's add up to a big T. There's so much there. We're here to have this beautiful experience in our one body. We need to lift each other up, to step into our gifts, like you've stepped into your gifts of helping others, because you're like, this hasn't been difficult for me, but now you're helping others see, simplifying something.
And I deeply believe that when women get strong on the outside, they get strong on the inside. That's why I keep doing this, because we need strong women who can handle life.
We need each other. We need communities of women supporting each other.
We're supposed to be in tribes. Most of what we're fighting is modern culture.
That's some of the things I'm trying to change with the podcast. I've expanded the discussions more because we are multifaceted women. We don't just focus on one part of our life. We are juggling all of it. And so let's bring in all of the different parts to help us, knowing it's all based upon the spiritual connection. Everything leads back to worth in our conscious, subconscious, no matter what subject we're talking about.
And I'm like, why? I always study this stuff. I find it fascinating. Why do we have such low self-worth? Do you think that comes from childhood? Where's that from?
I believe it's multi-answer. We inherit, and they have a lot of so much science around it, but that we inherit this from generationals back. And if you just think back, I've been doing research in my own lineage of women. I think I'm at level 4 back from me. And I think about what was going on in the world when they were born, and we carry forth, just like we do our eye color, our DNA, but our cells are changed with major traumas or whatever their perception was at that time. The having enough food, how many people went through famines, or there wasn't, where whole families living off a loaf of bread for a week. All the wars that we've had, all of the women who've experienced horrible, so much rape was not considered a big deal 100 years ago. It was just what happened. And we couldn't vote. We didn't even have, until 1974, we couldn't even open up a bank account in the US or have a credit card in our name. I was a young girl, 7 or 8, when that was happening. And I believe that we inherited all of that in our DNA, and then we pick up things before age 7, whether we can talk or not talk. And there's lots of science around that too, as far as what if you're in a crib and there's something on the TV about a mass murder or something. You're picking up emotions in your environment with parents or caregivers. We absorb that. And so that, I think, is inherently because we were not treated very well. And all of those traumas all play into that worth,
And I guess it's multifaceted too, because sometimes women can feel worthy and capable in some areas, but not in other areas.
Yes.
So that's also
I
interesting.
see that frequently. I see that
Mhm.
frequently. And one of the areas I see it a lot in is with money.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
lots of
'Cause
money consciousness beliefs that are blocked.
yeah,
And look at
beliefs.
all those myths. The myth
Yeah.
of, oh, women can't handle money. We just want to go shop.
Fascinating.
It
So I
really
think
is.
the brain and personal development, it's crucial to know ourselves well, because
Mhm.
we can't make changes if we don't really know ourselves so well.
Carrie's 3 simple words, you've got this, carry the weight of every season, every struggle, and every moment of self doubt. Carrie shares what she would like to tell her younger self, and in doing so, reminds us all about the capacity for everything we desire already lives within us. This isn't about confidence borrowed from external success, it's about uncovering the self worth that's been there all along. We all have the capacity inside us to learn these skills. Self worth and confidence is where the lack is. And Carrie's message really illuminates a powerful truth. We don't lack ability, resources, or potential. What we lack in is the belief in our inherent worth to claim what's ours. Her wisdom revealed the comparison trap. We don't know anyone else's full story, so stop measuring your chapter 3 against their highlight reel. Skills can be learned, but self worth is the foundation that makes everything else possible. Awareness without judgment. You can't change what you don't acknowledge with curiosity and compassion. And the generational trauma. Understanding that our worth wounds did not start with us, help us heal them. So, this transformation happens when women realize they're not broken. They're just inherent beliefs that never belonged to them in the first place. So, the reflective question I'd like for you to think about is, what would you attempt if you truly believed you got this? My next guest is Holly Hughes, and she is a TEDx speaker, an award winning author, and intuitive healer. Drawing inspiration from her journey, Holly channels her life experiences and utilizes her special gifts to offer unique guidance and healing. She specializes in navigating emotional pivots and life transitions. She firmly believes that one's past is not a defining factor, but an integral part of their story, allowing individuals to shape their future. So, Holly joined me on the podcast episode Finding Your Worth in Uncertainty, and that was on episode 144. So, let's jump in and hear Holly's. Where you are now in this season of life. If you could go back to your younger self and tell her something about your own worth, what would you tell her?
It wasn't your fault and you're not responsible. Like that would be what I needed to hear.
Mm.
That's what I think what my youngest self, I wouldn't even know how to say it, but I was so busy in my trauma, keeping secrets and believing it was all my fault. And then I was not good enough. Even though outwardly I probably didn't look like that. So if I could visit myself as a young girl, I would hold me past the point of being comfortable. Just so she would know what it felt like to have that kind of support.
That's powerful.
Mm.
I can feel that.
I'm not going to cry, but I would. I think we all do our best to love those of us who are parents, our children to the best of our abilities, right? I don't ever say that my parents didn't do that. They know I kept a lot from them because I never thought they could handle it, which is not the role of the child.
No.
As an adult, I know that, but it's also my normal. So I do this work a lot with like my clients. I guess some people call it inner child work. I don't call it that, where we get to go back in time and I'll send an angel to them when they're little. So they could sit with them in those moments of either loneliness, isolation, pain, whatever, like that, not being seen or heard or not being able to get what you needed in the moment and give that love. And then something in their body always changes.
I could use one of those angels going back. Yeah.
I call that angel that I work with children, Josephine. She's just so compassionate. She's just such a yummy mom. Feel free to talk to her if you want to.
Yeah. Sometimes the most profound healing comes not from words of wisdom, but from the embrace we never received. I think Holly really shared with us what might be the most tender advice to a younger self I've ever heard. The need to be held past the point of comfort, to finally know what truly support feels like. For women who have spent a lifetime keeping secrets, carrying burdens that weren't theirs, and believing they had to handle everything alone. This message is medicine. I think her key lesson of it wasn't your fault and you're not responsible really speaks to the weight of so many high-achieving women who carry that the belief that we're responsible for everything and everyone, that if something went wrong, it must have been our fault. Her message holds 3 powerful truths. Release misplaced responsibility. Not everything that happened to you was because of you. The power of being held. Sometimes we need support that goes beyond what's comfortable to truly feel self. The inner child healing. Going back to those moments of isolation with compassion changes everything in your body. Breaking the silence. Keeping secrets to protect others keeps us trapped in unworthiness. This transformation isn't just in understanding this intellectually, it's in feeling it in your body and receiving the support you needed then, now. So our reflective question is, what burden are you carrying that was never yours to carry in the first place? My next guest is Kim Rogers, who's the founder of Rogers Hood Apothecary, where she unveils her viral Parasite Cleanse Kit. She's also dubbed the Worm Queen and emphasizes the importance of parasite awareness, often overlooked in developing countries. Highly, highly recommend her product. She was my guest in the episode Uncovering Parasites and Holistic Healing, which is episode 145. So let's jump into her words of wisdom. In this season of your life, if you could go back and talk to your younger self about your worth, what would you tell her?
You got this. And I do think there's times that I have done that. I actually know that I've done it. I know that I've told myself, just keep going. Like literally, just keep going. Like whatever's happening right now is going to pass and you get another chance tomorrow. And a chance every day. So do your best for today and try again tomorrow because you do get another chance.
In a world that glorifies elaborate self-help strategies, Kim really offered the simplest and most powerful advice. You got this. Just keep going. As someone who has walked through her own health challenges and transformation, Kim knows that sometimes the most profound wisdom isn't complex. It's the daily choice to trust yourself one day at a time. So I think her key takeaway was do your best for today and try again tomorrow because you get another chance. And she is really a message of a masterclass in sustainable transformation. Kim reminds us that there's daily renewal. You get another chance every single day. Present moment focus. Whatever's happening right now is going to pass. Self-compassion. Do your best for today. Release the pressure of perfection. And persistence over perfection. Just keep going, even when it's hard. This isn't about grinding through or forcing yourself forward. It's about trusting that you have what it takes right now to take the next right step, and then the next, and then the next. So the reflective question I have for you, based upon Kim, is what would shift if you gave yourself permission to simply do your best today, knowing you get another chance tomorrow? My final guest for today's episode is Nancy Reagan. She's the esteemed founder of Skin Diva Labs and Ballerina Spas. Nancy is a seasoned diagnostic dietitian and skincare coach with over 30 years of experience, shares her pioneering techniques for skincare, particularly for women over 40. So she was in the episode of Glow, Confidence, and Radiance, Nancy Reagan on Skincare Magic and Finding Worth, which was episode 146. So let's just jump in to what Nancy's thoughts were. I always love to hear is that in this season of your life, you had to go back and talk to your much younger self about your own worth. What would you tell yourself?
Oh my gosh, that question is okay. Because I was very sick until 37, had cancer, 14 surgeries. It had been quite the journey. And I also didn't quite understand that I was my own self, and I had looked to other people for proof that I could be loved. And I really would tell my younger self, you're worthy of loving yourself, love yourself. And really that lesson, I don't know what it was about the switch that turned on at about 45, 50, but that switch turned on and I was like, oh girl, you've been missing this. And when it turned on, there was no stopping. It made a whole difference in how you react to people. I'm not waiting for approval because you're the girl boss. You're the one making the decisions. You're in charge of yourself. It's a real different feeling. And some mothers teach it to it wasn't one of my, like when I was growing up, you were taught to be a good wife. That was your role and be very subservient. So it wasn't like you had opinions and you weren't supposed to have opinions and you weren't supposed to even acknowledge that you knew anything, even though you were smarter than the dumb people that you were hanging around with, not exposed to. I think that is a huge highlight to go back to yourself and say, hey, look in the mirror, love yourself first, because that will propel you forward completely.
Very beautifully said, Nancy. We're so glad you got through those times.
Yes.
To be here with us today. At 45, something switched on for Nancy Reagan, a realization that she had spent decades looking to others for proof that she could be loved, when the love she needed most was her own. After 14 surgeries, cancer, and years of seeking external validation, Nancy discovered the truth that transforms everything. You are worthy of loving yourself first. For high-achieving women who've been taught to be good, to be subservient, to not have opinions, this message is an important one. I think Nancy's key lessons to share with us was love yourself first, because that will propel you forward completely. Her transformation from seeking approval to being her own girl boss reveals the approval trap. Waiting for others to validate your worth keeps you stuck. Generational conditioning. Many of us were taught our role was to serve, not to shine. The midlife awakening. Sometimes it takes decades to realize you've been missing your own self-love. And lastly, self-love as fuel. When you love yourself first, everything else changes. How you show up, how you make decisions, how you react to others. The switch Nancy describes isn't about becoming someone new. It's about finally acknowledging who you've always been and claiming your right to love that woman fiercely. Based upon Nancy's and I's discussion, the reflection question I'd like for you to think about is what would become possible if you stopped waiting for approval and become your own biggest champion. And as we wrap up this episode, I would love to hear what has really struck you, what has really made a difference in all of their different journeys. Because as you know, your worth is not something you achieve. It's something you remember, trust, and embody. And this really all aligns perfectly with the Light Up Your Worth mission, where Amy teaches us worth is inherent. Carey showed us we have everything we need inside. Holly reminds us to release what isn't ours. Kim demonstrates sustainable self-trust. Nancy proves self-love changes everything. Together, they illuminated path from external validation to internal fulfillment. The exact transformation your Beyond Success blueprint creates for high-achieving midlife women ready to discover what truly lights them up. So I can't wait to see you next week as we jump into the next episode in the series. Much love.